This episode is brought to you by Americas Rehab Campus. Get on the road to recovery with the best rehab in beautiful Arizona. Dial 1-833-272-7342. That's 1-833-ARC-REHAB.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to the ARCast.
It's like the least amount of stress I've ever been for an episode.
We're down.
Fuck yeah. All right.
Let's do this.
Let's go. What is going down? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is an afternoon show for me. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the ARCast. My name is Buddha, and I am in the studio today with my homegirl. It's just crazy how shit happens sometimes. I was in the office editing an episode, and she came through, and it was crazy. I hadn't seen her in years, and now we're working together and just reminiscing, bringing up some stories, and she's got an amazing testimony. So everybody, please get up out your seat and give a huge round of applause to my homegirl, Carla.
Hello.
Yeah.
I was so happy to see you here. I was so happy to see a familiar face.
Yeah?
I was like grateful. I'm like, Buddha.
It's scary, dude.
I know. It's
Starting a new spot.
a new spot. Something I've never done in my life. I had just gotten my RSS, new to the industry.
Man.
So finding somebody familiar and a familiar face, I just like, this is the place.
Well, that's cool. What did you do before this?
Retail, scheduling for doctors.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Nothing behavioral health.
So it's a completely different world.
Completely.
And
But I've lived the life though.
Yeah? How much time you got recovery?
17 years.
Damn, 17 years?
17 years.
Congratulations. That's what's up. Man, 17 years. Okay, so this is your first experience working in a place like this. Did you ever go into like a rehab and stuff like that?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I was 24 when I entered treatment.
Wow.
I did it to try to be a case and time served. And it ended up being a lifestyle, just taking it day by day.
We're definitely going to get into it because, you know, I know there's some stuff beneath the surface. So let's start from the beginning. We'll just get right into the conversation, all right? Where are you from? Are you from Tucson, Arizona?
Born and raised, native to Tucson.
Yeah?
Yep.
What side of town did you grow up in by any chance?
Grew up in Barrio Centro.
Oh, shit. Is that close to the west side?
No, we're
Aw,
Midtown.
dang.
We're Midtown.
Oh, okay. It is Midtown. I wanted to throw I wanted to throw it up. I'm always looking for an excuse. My bad. All right,
That
we
was
done.
actually like our rival neighborhood was Hollywood, but I was never a banger. I was like that girl that I was just cool with everybody.
Okay.
I had cousins from Hollywood, people from Central.
And see, I should have known that you guys were Midtown. My wife is going to be talking shit because she knows she gets mad at me because I'm the one who uses the GPS all the time. Like, I don't know my neighborhoods. I don't know shit like that. I'm just like, I'm in my own world most of the time.
And I still use GPS. Like, Tucson's so small, but it's just like,
yeah, I'll get lost.
me too.
That's crazy. So, man, all right. So you grew up here. Did you have any siblings growing up?
I'm the oldest of 4 girls.
All girls.
All girls. That was a fun time.
Yeah, I hope you had more than
that
like
was,
2 or 3 bathrooms. Shit,
no,
you guys-
we always had to have a household with 2 bathrooms. It was chaotic every morning. Went to Tucson High. I met a lot of people there. Went to Mansfield.
And okay, so damn, that's crazy. I went to Mansfield and Tucson High. Do you know? Because I know you from my cousin, right? But I don't know if I met you before that. Do you know my brother and all of them that went to Tucson High and stuff too?
I didn't know you had a brother.
My brother's name is Ricky. He used to hang out with Marco and Joel and like all the Mecha boys and stuff back in the day.
They sound familiar. If I were to see them, I bet you, were they class of 99?
I'm guessing around that time. He was probably maybe like a year or 2 younger than you. He looks like Pitbull, just minus the talent and money, of course. I'll show you a picture of him real quick. Fucking, let me see.
Oh, that's Ricky's your brother?
Yeah.
I maybe I did know that.
So
Ricky's good people.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, he's my brother. So April and Rick we're all cousins together.
Oh, we used to kick it with Ricky.
Okay.
Yes, I do know your brother.
Okay.
I take that back.
And you remember Marco?
I would have to see him too.
Oh,
But
fuck,
Ricky used
Wendy.
to hang out with us too.
Really? Okay. I wonder if that's how I remember you from back in the day. Because I remember my brother and I are like 5 years apart.
Okay.
But I would, when he had homegirls and stuff come through, I would never steal his beer because he would know. But I would steal like the home. So I always drank a lot of Zimas and bullshit.
Remember
like
the
that.
Zimas and throwing Jolly Ranchers in them?
Yes, I do, man. Ugh, gross.
Yeah, they were gross. What were we thinking?
This is Marco right here.
I remember Ricky for sure.
Yeah.
Either from school, or I know for sure from April.
That's crazy. When did we first meet for the first time? Do you remember?
I don't remember how April brought us along. I remember your wife too. I remember you have your kids, your daughter and your son. I don't know if we did something with April. Like I went somewhere with April and I met you.
Did you do some of the music videos? Were you in any of them?
Oh no.
No, you never. Huh. That's crazy. Well, yeah, you must have. Did you ever kick it at Matia's house and shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
But April, like, you were like her another brother.
Yeah, she's like a
her.
sister.
Yeah,
to me.
so she loved you. I love April too. You guys check out her episode.
Yeah, her episode with Taylor. If you guys go back, we had her for the Valentine's Day episode earlier in the year. Since then, they have introduced a beautiful baby girl into this world. Congratulations,
so
cousin. I know you're doing your thing, and she's such a strong person. I love her. I was just looking at pictures of you the other day online, as a matter of fact, and you just hold this glow and this beauty about you. You can just see the happiness in your eyes and in the pictures. So I love you, cousin, wherever you're at. Shout out to you.
I know I miss April. I haven't seen her in I miss her dearly. We always kept in touch. It was like one of those friends that even though you don't talk for a long time, you could just pick up where you guys left off.
Yeah, that's it, huh?
That she was like a friend like that to me.
That's cool. So, man, let's get back to the story. You said you grew up in Barrio Centro. All right, cool. I got some family out there too. How were you growing up? Like, did you have both of your parents or your mom and dad married and stuff?
The question that we got a lot was like, "Oh, you guys have the same dad?" Like, yes, we have the same dad.
That's good.
So all of us have the same mom and dad. We had the same parents. Growing up was a little hectic. My mom's an angel. I never really seen my mom drunk, or she never used drugs or anything like that. It was just more my dad. He was an alcoholic. As of his dad was an alcoholic too. He actually passed away from cirrhosis.
Your father did?
My grandfather did.
Oh, man.
My dad has cirrhosis, and that's how he got into recovery, because it was either drink yourself to death or live.
So this was when growing up is when he got real sick with the cirrhosis?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
So there's a story behind that one too. Growing up with my dad was just hectic. I knew he was an alcoholic. I guess I didn't know what an alcoholic was. I thought that was the normal way to drink.
Yeah.
Like that was our normal. And I guess when being that drunk and him just being so angry all the time, he was abusive. Only me and another one of my sisters were the ones that would actually get our asses kicked. And he spared the other two. I don't know how we were the ones that got the shit end of the stick. I don't know how to explain it.
Man, it's crazy how it's all tied up too. Like everything in recovery is all tied up. Like when you start learning about the patterns, it's all tied up to some shit from your past, a person that reminds you of, or just something. There's always something in there.
I don't know if something in my, I don't know if like something in me, or I guess too, because I was just a little dickhead too, and I would talk back. And I was just like, fuck you, want to be an asshole? I could be an asshole too. But I knew I was going to get my ass beat.
Who did you get it from? Did you get that trait from
my dad, probably, because I was a daddy's girl and I wanted to be with him. Like, everywhere he went, I wanted to go. And I guess with my mom, it was also like a peace of mind.
Yeah.
But it was always, now that I look at it, she was putting me in danger, because he was not a safe person to be around.
And it's crazy too, because like if you have a lot of the traits from your dad, I think me and my mom used to butt heads because of that. It was like, although my mom now that that I'm older, I respect her as an independent woman. She's never needed any man. She's never needed any of that, but growing up as a young rebellious little travieso, it doesn't come off as you being independent. It comes off as, like you said, being a dickhead, or being what is the other word where you don't listen. You're like completely against authority. You know what I mean?
Rebellious just for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, I knew going to Mansfield, I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I used to do it like to the max, because I already knew I was going to get my ass beat.
That's crazy.
So if I was going to get my ass beat, it was going to be for a good reason.
Yeah, Mansfield and Tucson High. We went to the same schools. Well, elementary
And then
schools
I ended up at Sunnyside.
Did you? Okay.
That's where all the shit started. Sunnyside was with the shit, bro.
Okay, so all right, so growing up, you said that you had experienced a bit of abuse as a child, just growing up in those situations. Going back to what you said about how you thought that was just normal for you to drink like that. That's all you know.
And then, or even being in relationships as an older woman, that getting your ass beat was love. Like, if you didn't fight with me, I didn't feel like you loved me.
Wow.
And it was like, it's crazy to think that that's what I thought when it was normal. Because my joke now is I call my mom Ike and Tina.
Those Ike Turner memes make me laugh every time I see that.
Like anime, I'll call her anime every once in a while. Like, look, mom, now I know why dad, but it's all in jokes. Like, we laugh at this shit now. But in all reality, it was pretty fucked up the way trying to keep my mom from getting her ass beat, like being her shield. Then having to call 911 on your dad, that's shitty.
Yeah, it's a rough situation for any child.
Yeah, and then like trying to protect my sisters, keeping them in the room so they don't see this shit. And I was just like I took that role on as the protector. Like, I was the oldest one. My second to the oldest is like we're 4 years apart, and then they're like 1 year apart. Like, they all got to go to school together.
Wow.
They all got to experience that. And like when I graduated high school, my second oldest sister was barely going to be a freshman.
Man, okay.
So does that make sense? So I was always like the protector, not only for my mom, but even for my dickhead dad at the time. Like, I was still even trying to protect him.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes perfect sense. I have a question about what you said, because I know a little bit ago you said that if someone was in a relationship with you and they weren't mean to you or whatever, you would almost take it as not love. Did you ever, I'm always curious to ask this question, but I've never had the opportunity. Did you ever date guys that were like super loving and respectful, and it just like,
you're a pussy. Like,
that's I was wondering that.
I hated it. I'm like, what is wrong with you? I wasn't receptive to it. Like,
wow, that's interesting.
I felt like I wasn't worthy of that. Like, what is wrong? Like, and I pushed a lot of those relationships away, and probably a lot of good relationships, because I didn't know any better. And it's sad now that I think back to it. It took a lot of therapy.
Of course.
Shout out to my therapist. But no, it took a lot of like self-reflecting, and like, that's not normal. Like, that's not love.
Yeah. Wow. All right. And then so your parents they're still together?
Fuck no.
No, they're not?
I had to put a stop to it. I was 14. He had beat my mom so bad that I was like, fuck this. Even at 14, I was just like, when's enough? He's going to end up killing my mom.
So it was a reoccurring.
Yeah, it was like, we didn't know if we were going to get happy Gabriel or mad Gabriel. Like, we didn't know what dad we were going to have. Or like, when he would drink, he would have so many personalities. We didn't know which one was going to come out.
Wow. I don't know if we had touched base on that earlier in the interview, talking about the addiction part of anybody in your family, but your dad was a drinker?
He's a drinker and an addict. I know he did coke. I used to find his coke all the time. He was a drug dealer. I'm a product of my environment as well.
But your mom, nothing?
No, my mom was like oblivious to it. Like, she didn't know where the money was coming from. Or at least I would like to pretend that she didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because I was daddy's girl and I knew what my uncles and my dad were doing, I was doing deliveries with my dad at young.
So up until you were 14, it was just kind of the same
bullshit,
same shit. And then at 14, how were you in that position to be able to make that breakup happen?
So the last time, like I said, it was super bad. I was like, he's gonna end up killing my mom. So my grandma thankfully lived, like, we all lived within walking distance. Mm-hmm. So I ran away from home, went to my nana's, and she's like, what are you doing here? I'm gonna stay here until my mom leaves my dad. So you need to talk to your daughter. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. And I'm like, and not only that, like, somebody needs to take me to go get my sisters. That's what I was worried about. And then, so I guess my mom and my grandma talked. And the next thing I know is my dad was getting his shit. And my mom was like, okay, like, I hear you.
Damn.
Like, yeah.
Your grandmother, did she have any understanding of any of that shit going on before you told her?
Yeah. They didn't like my dad.
No.
Nah, yeah. He was just an asshole to everybody. But it's just when he was drunk. I always tell everybody, like, Easter was my favorite because, you know, being Catholic, we have Lent. Mm-hmm. And we have those 40 days where we give something up.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad would always give up drinking or using or whatever. So that would be like the best 40 days. Like we would have our dad.
Man, that's sad to hear that.
Like,
you know what I mean?
and then
I get it.
And we knew when Easter came, like we knew it was going to be a shit show.
It's so funny that you say that shit because I remember that with some of my family in my neighborhood, especially. It was real quiet during the Cuaresma. There was nothing going on, and then Easter comes and there's fireworks.
It's like a New Year
everywhere. Yeah, it's like, damn, you're not supposed to go right back into that lifestyle, man. But no, that's crazy. All right, so you were put into a pretty hard position as a young little girl, but being the oldest, you're also kind of forced to be older, so not much of a childhood, unfortunately.
No, I didn't really get to do. And I told my mom, like, Mom, like leave him. I promise you, I'll get a job. I'll help you pay rent. Whatever my sisters need.
Wow.
I'll make means for that. So being that I was daddy's girl, I knew how to make fast money.
Yeah.
Fast and easy money. So I did what I had to do, hustled. My mom thought I was going to work to EG.
Oh, shit.
So this was probably my freshman year, and I went to Sunnyside, and I didn't know anybody there. So I was like sort of like getting where you fit in type shit, and I fell into the wrong crowd. But it was the right crowd for me because they taught me how to like make money and make it fast.
Wow.
So I started doing that, holding pounds at my mom's house, and I would have the key to the cuartito, and I'll be like, Mom, whatever's in the cuartito, like, don't touch it, don't ask questions. And
really? And she would just very naive, huh? Wow. And
I love her to death. I don't think she meant it. I don't know, but I love my mom to death.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I was just like, don't ask questions, just let it be. But shit's gonna get paid for.
I think, especially if you guys are struggling and things are getting taken care of.
Yeah,
you know?
I think until she could figure it out how to do it for girls by herself. And it's not like we wanted being girls and then we wanted the best of the best too. And I'm sure my mom wanted the best for us too. It's not like we were poor, but we weren't rich either.
Man, and did you ever have like reservations about doing that type of shit because of the feelings that you had regarding your dad and when he was using?
It was like, for me at the time, it was what I had to do.
Okay.
Like, I felt like I'm the daddy now. Like, I'm the daddy. So it's just, I felt like I didn't have any other choices, but I probably did. Yeah. I probably could have gone to my EG job. Yeah. But like, they asked me to clean the bathroom, and I was like, clean the bathroom. I was like, nah, that's not for me.
Yeah, I feel you. I
had cousins that they were in the game, and I knew like somewhat from my dad, and I was like, okay, it's not that hard. Just bag this shit up, and this much is this much, and make the money. And
moving forward after that happened, do you still have a relationship with your father?
Right now, I haven't talked to him in years.
Really?
I was just talking to somebody about that. I even went down. He's living at the Tucson house now. It took me so much to even get down and leave him a note. And I never even heard. And I stayed in the car crying for like 30 minutes. And I never heard anything from him. So I've tried to reach out.
How many years has it been?
Oh, my God. What year is it now? Like, I want to say maybe 5 years, more than 3 years for sure. Like between 3 to 5 years. And my dad was like such a giving soul too. Like, he would always help others. He's a big part of my foundation in recovery. Him and my stepmom at the time. Like, so is my mom and my family. But my dad understood me a little bit more. Yeah. Being that he finally got it. Like, he was finally in recovery for years. Man. And he found somebody, and my stepmom was amazing, but she actually relapsed and she passed away. She overdosed.
Pobrecita. That's rough.
So being here, like, when I see these clients, like, go back out and relapse, like, it's real. Like,
so your dad...
It could be your last time that you go out there.
No, you're absolutely right. Your dad had gotten recovery?
Yeah. So he's the one that took me to rehab when I got pulled over for a DUI when I was 24. And I had a bunch of coke with me, money, a scale, baggies, dollars everywhere. That was the lifestyle I knew. I thought I was just living like a normal 24-year-old. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the time we go out. That's the time you go clubbing. That's the time you turn 21. That's like, I thought that was just part of that scene.
Okay. All right. And I didn't mean to get, too far off topic. I was just kind of curious where that situation was. But, and it seems like we're going to get back into it in a little bit. But continuing on from when you said around 14, did you just were kind of on that same tip till high school pretty much doing the same shit?
I probably started, I want to say I started getting high 7th or 8th grade. I was already in Mansfield. I remember I was in Mansfield.
Okay. All right.
But I was we had that little dirt weed. Like, I didn't think anything of it. You know what I'm saying?
You have that shit that makes you lose your mind.
Weed's come a long way, let me tell you. But I thought it was harmless. You know what I'm like? I never, it's a gateway drug. Like, I hate to call it that, but I mean, maybe it really was.
Yeah. No, it is definitely, especially the shit now that they're making.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
All right, so you started getting high. You were still doing that. Did you end up graduating from high school?
I did. That was one thing I promised my mom, that regardless, I was going to get my diploma. I was going to walk across that stage for her and my grandmother and get my diploma.
Were you a good student?
At Mansfield, I was. I went to Robinson for my elementary.
Okay.
My mom taught me Spanish first. Spanish was my first language, even though I'm from Tucson. But I would go visit family in Mexico a lot, so I learned Spanish first. And then I was always in the GATE program in advance. So I was a good student going. My life could have gone two ways, and I picked the wrong when it came to that part of my life. I'm gonna go down this road and see where it takes me.
But hey, you graduate. You didn't do sports, anything like that?
Oh no, I didn't have no kind of school spirit. I did. I didn't have no kind of school spirit. I wasn't. I lied because at Mansfield I was in student council.
Okay.
I was the secretary. I had to run for it, and I actually won. And I was like, "Oh, I was just bullshitting."
That's what's up.
But student council was cool. I got to do the little dances for the schools, and
okay.
You know what I'm saying? I guess that was a good part of my.
But once high school came, there was no fucking cheerleading. There was no fucking stomp the yard type of shit.
Nobody's cheering for this shit. No.
All right. So you graduated. Did you have a record at this time?
I've had a record probably since 6th grade.
Since 6th grade?
6th grade. It started with shoplifting.
Dang.
Yeah.
Did anybody influence you in this shit, or was this just kind of an independent? I don't
know if I just was
do what the fuck I want.
I think that's what was with everything going on at home. I don't know if it was an escape for me. Now that I'm trying to think back on it, I think I was just rebellious just to be a dick.
Well, you also are the oldest,
yeah.
So it's not like you had. It seems like there was a significant little difference between your other sisters too. So it's not like you had anyone other than your mom to confide in.
So I was still considered the only child because I was so much older than them.
Yeah.
Not so much older, but older enough. They had their own little clique. And then I was you guys are too young to hang out with me. No.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was sort of jealous of those three. They had a bond that I didn't have with them.
Yeah.
I just knew that I was their protector. I'm not here with the bullshit. I'm not here to be your guys' friend. I'm just here to protect you guys. I don't know.
You were daddy.
Yeah, I'm daddy. Don't forget that.
Oh man. All right. So okay. Yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense. You don't have an outlet, right? No. Other than making money, and you ain't hanging out with pussies. You said that earlier. So you're kicking it with some traviesos too, right?
So getting high, already getting high, I don't know if it was the summer going into Mansfield, but I think I just wanted to be cool. I don't know, but I liked the feeling of it too. So it's just a little outlet for me from all the bullshit. And then I would have to go home and deal with that bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's just an escape for me.
When did things start to shift as far as, just smoking weed and kind of, like you said, trying to be cool, living that lifestyle? When did it really become damn, I'm in this shit? And when did the drug use and stuff like that start affecting you?
So I want to say when I when I told my mom, you need to leave dad, but I thought separating them and them getting divorced, I thought we were going to be good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My mom's not going to get her ass beat, and then we're just going to be going to dad's house, but we're just going to go with dad over here while I thought I was going to see him.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out that way. He would rather go out and use drugs and stay drunk than to like spend time with him and his girls. So then I remember always thinking like I wanted to be just like my dad. So I'm like, what is keeping my dad from us? And I knew it was his cocaine use and drinking. So then one time we were at a party, we used to throw, my best friend at the time, she had an older brother. He was an OG from Central. And we used to throw kegers. So we were like freshmen. And I was a young freshman. I was 14. And then one of the guys, I'll never forget, I won't mention his name, but I'll never forget who he is. One of the OGs from Central. And he's you girls want to try this shit? And we're like, what is it? And he's like, it's base. It's coke. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm down. Like, I was down for whatever. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
no fear.
No.
Even though like that thought of.
But I remember like, that's what my dad does. You know what I'm saying? But I never knew then, like, because when I'm telling you guys, when I was slanging weed first.
Yeah.
So like the weed game, like holding pounds at the house, and I would get paid just to hold it. People would come and pick it up. I would get paid. Like, so I was just dealing with weed. So when I got introduced to coke, that was a whole nother, that's a whole nother game. That takes you up a level. Like I'm leveling up now.
Yeah.
So I remember, I used to love that. I would think that it was like, once you get into coke, like you when you're so young and you're so naive.
I picture you sitting there at the desk, big ass desk with a little 8-ball right there.
You think it's gonna be, yeah, and you think with like an 8-ball or ounce, like I made it, like I'm that mafioso, I'm that bitch. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
Yeah,
man.
I thought I was I thought I had made it. Like I hit the jackpot. Like now I know. Now I can make real money.
You fall in love with coke right away.
I love
using it and stuff. Man, crazy thing that we always talk about is how, you know, the drugs are so fun at first and the way that they make you feel. But it's like as you're elevated, layers are getting removed from your life. You know, you don't even see it.
I loved it in the beginning. And that towards the end, I hated it. I hated what it turned me into. I hated how it made me feel. I hated everything. I didn't want to know part of it anymore. And I just didn't know how.
Damn. And you didn't have any babies or nothing at this time?
What at the 15 or?
Oh no, when you started doing coke, what age are we at?
I'm like 14.
Okay.
Because I remember my quinceañera and I was fucked up at my quinceañera.
Okay, we'll back up then. So all right, so you were using it. Like when it comes to your friends and when it comes to your family, the people that you were kicking it with, did they notice a change in you right away?
I didn't see. I thought it was just I thought that's how people use drugs. We just use it in big amounts. Like, I don't know. Like, that's what I was always around. Like, even my cousins, like in Mexico, when we would go out there on las fiestas de octubre, like, they would have ounces with the straw in it, dude. Like, I thought that's not normal. Like,
jeez, wow.
You know, like, I guess that it was normal to us. And nobody told me, like, that's not normal. Drinking, like having an alcoholic dad, I thought drinking that much was normal.
What did your mom ever say about that? She was she non-confrontational? I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like she used to write me letters.
All right, put it.
I would find letters in my drawers or in like, cause she didn't want, cause like she would, I'm little Gabriel, so and when I would get in those. You like, Mom, you're tripping. I don't have a problem. Like, and then it would cause me and her to fight. You know what I'm like?
Okay.
So it was like she was living with my dad all over, like a little version of my dad all over again.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's fuck. Now that I'm thinking about it, it was pretty fucked up. And so she would just be like, Carla, I'm really worried about you. And then we would write each other back and forth, and that way it wouldn't be confrontational or I wouldn't take it the wrong way, or she caught me on a bad day, or because at this point, like 15, 16, it was all hands on. I'm like, by now, I'm already smoking weed, drinking, using coke, LSD.
Leonetta, did you fight and shit?
My first fight was over, bro.
Damn, for real?
Yes, at Sunnyside. I had never fought in my life, and
okay, I don't know why. You just seemed like someone who would be like down to scrap all the time.
I was always trying, like I was just a party girl. Like I just wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I have the party favors. Like let's have fun.
Yeah. That's
like
crazy.
you know what I'm. what I'm saying? And then now I know that they were only my friends because I had the drugs, I had the weed, I had the alcohol, I had the money. So they weren't really my friends. I was just being used. And to me, I was just like, I'm the party girl. I'm like, oh, Carla's here. Let's get the party started.
Yeah. You'd never experienced like a true friendship, true love, none of that up at this point.
Yeah.
Wow. What about when your sister started to get older? Did they notice anything? Or was it the same?
Like there were, and it would be so bad because then I feel so bad for them because I would be like that sister that would come home and I wasn't done drinking or partying. And I would try to go wake them up and I'll be like, drink with me. And they're like, I'm in 6th grade, Carla. Like, what the fuck?
I've got a test tomorrow, bro. What
yeah,
the
like
fuck?
we got school tomorrow.
I've got Ames testing.
Yeah. So like I feel bad for them and the ones that are the 2 middle ones. I almost feel responsible for them being addicts now.
Oh man.
Because I had to take my role in that, like,
and that's a huge part of recovery, though, is taking responsibility.
Like I did wake them up and be like, drink with me, and they would be like, what the fuck are we like in their pobrecitas with like legañas in their eyes, and they're like, what are we doing? Like, and I was just because I wasn't ready to go to sleep or like I wasn't done partying. Well,
they say, it's cliche, but the misery loves company. It's not necessarily that, but it's, generational curses. That's like a disease, bro. They just reach out to people. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. And that's what happens when you're under the devil's like spell.
Yeah.
You know what
and
I'm
in my head, if I had somebody with me, I didn't have a problem.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I'm not doing it alone, it's like
validation.
we're just having fun.
Yeah,
you know what
validation.
I'm saying? But towards the end, I was using by myself, and that's when it got scary.
Oh shit! And did you have were you holding down like relationships or anything at this point? As you're getting older, like were you able to stay in a healthy relationship?
I never wanted a relationship. So let's fast forward. So I by this time I was doing a lot of ecstasy. But I was still going to school. Like, I still managed to pass all my shit. Sunnyside was fun. Like, we carried water bottles, dude, and it was full of vodka. I used to sell shots. Anything to make money, I would make it.
Damn.
We got in... Rochas were big back in my day.
I remember those.
Rochas were really big back in my day. I remember a lot of blackouts. I don't remember how I would get home sometimes. I would wake up and not know where the fuck I was at.
That's so dangerous, especially as a woman.
I know.
Bro.
I'm lucky to be alive. Seriously. Especially with all these documentaries that I watch. Like, I'm so lucky to be alive. Because I would just jump in the cars with strangers. Like, even when we would go to clubs. Like, I did... My best friend at the time, the one that we would throw kegers, she would, like, pull me out of cars at the club. And, like, dude, like, we come together, we leave together. And these guys would be like... You're such a cock blocker. Like, and I was like, but she probably saved my life.
Man, that's so scary. You think about those times you were just bringing up the rochas and getting in and out of cars and shit. It's a lot of dumb shit that I did. I almost sold the rochas at one time in my life. And I remember different situations like that where I did some bullshit. And thank God, man. It's always like God always was there when I didn't even realize he was there. Just thinking about the shit that could have happened to me. You know?
Like, I wish I could make amends to everybody I sold drugs to. Like, I'm sorry. I'd eat rochas. I don't even know how half of us function at Sunnyside because we were a shit show. Like, everybody knew that we had everything. Like, my little crew, if you needed it, LSD, rochas, coke, weed, we had it on deck. And then we would go to both lunches and then we would dip.
Man.
Make our money at lunch and eat our little pizza and our little mini chimneys and dip. And then we were banging back then. Like, these kids would never know, like, cruising down 6, cruising down 12. Did you ever cruise? Am I showing my age right now?
No. I did. I cruised. I wasn't old enough to drive at the time. I went with my brother and them. But I remember that was so on Speedway.
It was on 12th and then on 6th Avenue.
Okay. I remember Speedway.
Speedway, like when they would lock us, when they would close, when the Southsiders would fuck it up over there, we would hit up Speedway.
The Southsiders.
Or like people would get murdered or like over nothing, dude. Just standing outside of Los Betos.
Yeah, that's
whether you were banging or not. Like I was losing friends right and left. Like it was so sad.
You were kind of at the tail end. You and I both were kind of at the tail end of that bullshit, like when gangs were really bad. Because that shit started in the early 90s and it
Like
got
when I'm telling
really,
you that,
really bad.
even my freshman year at Tucson High, I'll never forget. So Centro used to kick it at the wall, and then the Hollywooders would kick it at the squares.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was that big, I was there for that riot.
And OP, we kicked it at the fucking tree.
The tree.
Remember that?
The OP tree.
Yeah.
So like there was this big old riot. People were getting stabbed. Like it was over nonsense. Jeez. What is the neighborhood doing for you? Like really, like
for real, huh? Especially if the cops can come in and take your ass away. I always thought about that's nuts, man. Yeah, I remember when we were at Tucson High. Somebody got murdered, not at Tucson High, but at the Ronstadt. They met up afterwards.
The Ronstadt was crazy. Like, and if you wanted to fight, it was at the Ronstadt.
Yeah. At
Sunnyside, if you wanted to fight, there was a park and Desert Shadows. Yeah. And it was on site.
That's crazy. So, just to not get too far off topic, you said that you guys would go handle your business, eat your chimmies, which is a very important part of the story.
We had to eat lunch, you know.
Yeah,
we had to play the part, eat our lunch, but we were just whatever we had we could get our hands on, and as long as there was a demand for it, we had it.
Damn.
So I remember just.
So you had like a little team of people you would work with. That's crazy.
They were the homies, and I was always the girl. Like I always wanted to be part of the homies. Like I never wanted to be like that girly girl. Like I love your cousin, but she's that girly girl. Like I could see her, I could imagine her at school. Like you know what I'm saying. But that was never my scene. You know, making money was my thing. Like it made me feel good. Like it made it almost gives you that sense of empowerment. Like I don't know.
Well, I think we had my homeboy Nate. Shout out to Nate if you're listening. He was making, kind of the same. He was making so much money that his mom couldn't really tell him anything. I think it gives you a sense of, almost like a false sense of entitlement too, because you got money, they don't. So you can't tell me shit because you ain't got money.
Because I'm paying the rent. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying the rent, feeding my sisters, putting food in their mouths, putting clothes on their back. Like my mom was working 2 jobs. Don't get me wrong. Damn. But I wanted her to be there for my sisters. Like, Mom, I'm good over here. So I thought I was good. You know what I'm saying? As in my little world, like, I'm living this little mafiosa life that I thought. And we were running drugs. That's when Dro came back. Like, it was coming around when it was $20 a gram. Yeah. You guys will never know that struggle, bro. Like, that dirt weed was going away and that, like, Dro was coming in. Xanax were big, too. And I was just like, whatever, like, if it made me feel good, I was like, shit, everybody should feel like this. Like
back then, you didn't have to worry about it being laced with anything.
Yeah, and it was I didn't have to worry. I mean, fentanyl was there, but it wasn't not like
even back then, though?
Yeah, like not. It was like it was there. Well, it was Oxy back then, right?
Yeah, but that's still like pharmaceutical grade.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, people.
And not like in the blues and like I didn't like the way Oxys made me feel.
That's
like,
crazy, man. I couldn't even imagine like doing that type of stuff, like being that young and dabbling in those types of things, it just happens though.
So like even after I graduated, like the ecstasy, like I was doing ecstasy so much, and then doing ecstasy and coke, I don't know how I'm alive right now.
Damn, that's a hell of a combination.
Yeah. I didn't know I didn't know if I was coming or going. Like you don't know what the fuck is going on, but like it was crazy.
Dude, that's nuts. You had said earlier before we started the show that like your boyfriends or whatever at the time would be like, yo, you need to go to sleep.
Yes, I was dating some guy. So like he would like be laying there and he's like trying to go to bed. And I was still like, dude, sun was up, birds were chirping, and I'm still doing line after line. And he'd be like, dude, please go to sleep. And I'll be like, you tap out already? Like for reals? Like you're done? And then he's like, dude, that is not normal. By then I was a little older. I want to say I was like 22 at the time.
Okay.
So that's when I realized I was getting out of control.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, did your mom, I know you said she was a bit naive, but did she start to realize after a while?
Yeah, well, I was like the functioning addict that I would still go to work. I always thought I ended up getting a legitimate job. So I would always work like a call center, just like get me like an easy little job.
It's a hell of a job to work, all coked out.
No, seriously, I was like the best seller ever. I worked at AOL. We were making mad money at AOL too.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
That's
good
crazy.
Times at fucking AOL, bro. Good time. And then we were able to drink at lunch.
How?
It was
They
like
just
in the
didn't care?
handbook, bro. It was like part of their, because it was such a stressful job. We were in retention. So
They said you can drink
it
at
was
lunch.
in the hump. We could have 2 drink minimum. So the girl at Applebee's by the Park Place already knew us.
No shit.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that in a job. That's crazy.
Anybody from AOL that could vouch for me, I promise you we could have a 2 drink minimum.
Wow. That's crazy.
But we would drink we would come back lit. And I'm still doing my little water bottle trick with the vodka because I knew, like...
You guys are just partying it up.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
I'm
toxic,
doing lines
man.
on my desk. But I'm thinking this is not... Like, to me, I'm like 22, making money, and this is normal.
What about your homegirls you worked with? Did
They were doing it with, like...
Okay.
I guess I always found people like me. Like,
It happens. That's it.
you know what
That's
I'm
how it goes, yeah.
saying? So, like, I'm like, well, if they're doing it, then this shit must be normal.
Man.
So getting high on breaks, coming back lit, and coked out of our minds.
And you said this is around 22 years old. You're working, you're doing your thing. What did she say?
She would like, it's like she knew but didn't want to know.
Okay.
And then she didn't want to confront me.
And did you have a relationship with your dad at all at this time?
At this time, I think my dad was the fun dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. I got to chop it up with my dad. We got to drink. Like, nobody should ever get that drunk with their parents. It's not normal.
And when he was like in his sobriety, did he ever check you on that shit?
Oh yeah. My dad's biggest thing is you can't bullshit a bullshitter, gorda. Like, I know your bullshit. I know all your tricks. I taught you. You're a reflection of me. So you can't do me on me. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't pull a me on me because I already know your next step. Like, he was always 2 moves ahead of me. So my dad would always like, you need to fucking control this shit, gorda. And I'm like, but I don't have a problem, Dad. And he's like, you're fucking getting out of control. Wow. So that's when I'm reflecting on it. So I was telling my story in my group today. It's fucking so much, like, it's all like it all comes in waves and
floodgates.
Yes, it's crazy. So fast forward, like, by now, like, I left the ecstasy, all that bullshit alone. Like, I'm just slanging coke and I'm buying it like by the ounces, and I'm able to buy it out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anybody's shit, so it's then off mine. So then I would bag it up to where I'm making enough money to make my profit, what I need money for, and then the rest was mine. It was never just all for distributing, like, to sell. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like,
you were never like
2 baggies for me, 1 baggie over here to sell, 2 baggies for me, and then like it was, and that's when I knew I was getting out of control. But to me, again, like, I thought I was just being a normal 20-some-year-old, and I'm like, everybody does this, right? Like, little did I know that I was nothing close to being normal.
And I know you said that at 22 is also when you got your first DUI, correct?
24.
24. Okay, so we're getting close.
So we still have some. So then now my sisters are old. Like, I'm 22 now. Like, my sisters are little. Like, now they're in high school. We're like sending my mom away we're putting her up in hotels. And we would, like, from Friday to Sunday, we're throwing bangers at the house. And then we would, like, clean up as well as we could clean up and then go pick up my mom from the hotel. Like, so she almost enabled us. But, like, not in a bad way, but, like, we were going to do it regardless. So you want to be here or you want us to put you up in a hotel? Because we're going to do whatever we're going to do. Man. My poor mom. Shout out to my mom. I love you.
Hey, she's, like you said, she's an angel.
Yeah.
Right? That's
and
crazy.
At this time, like, I had my daughter when I was 20. And my mom was like, I was just praying for you to get sober. And I got pregnant, like, right out of, like, high school. So I was, like, 19 going on. And I had her when I was 20. And as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I stopped everything. Because back when that's when I was raging. That was, like, the ecstasy, the coke, the drinking, the, like, whatever we could get our hands on. Like, that's when I was raging.
Man, that's nuts.
But as soon as I found out, like, I was pregnant, like, I stopped. So I wasn't going to do that to the baby, you know. So I wasn't going to be selfish. So I did my pregnancy without using. But as soon as I had her, as soon as, like, she was, like, six months, I was just back to the same bullshit.
Were you married at this time?
I was married to my first husband, to my daughter's father. We ended up getting our own little duplex. So then we were like 19, 20 with our own place. So then our friends was able to come over to our house, and we were the party house.
Wow.
So if my sisters wanted to come over, I don't think my husband at the time knew how much I was using behind his back. So I thought, like, I don't think he knew to what extent I was using, because he wasn't using with me.
So that time period between 22 and 24, was there anything significant that happened during that time?
Then we got separated. We were too young. We got married for the wrong, which was for our daughter. Like,
yeah,
I was gonna try to do the little happy family.
Feeling pressure from the family too. Mijita, you need to get married.
Yeah, and you had to have her last name. Like, I could hear my nana still to this day. Like, you had, like, yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. So the typical, like, we had to do it. I felt pressured. Yes. Like my mom almost, like, was trying to talk me out of it. Like, you don't have to do it. And I was like, no, Mom, like, we got this. I love him. Like, you know what I didn't know what love was still.
Yeah, I feel you.
I didn't even love myself. Like, I don't even know how the fuck I could love him. But I just knew that we made this beautiful daughter. Yeah. So, but we tried our best, being young. Like, it's not for everybody. It wasn't for me at the time. I wasn't ready. So then, like, we got separated. I actually moved in with his stepdad. Because at this time, like, I want to stop already. Like, this is 23 going on 24. So we were married for a good 2 years. But I think the separation really fucked me up, too. Like, I really wanted to make this little family unit work. And we were forcing something that it wasn't.
It's hard. And I think that sense of, like, whether you like to admit it or not, like, you get these senses of, like, you're a failure if you do this, like, another generational curse on your family, another, wife without her husband. Like, there's a lot of shit that
comes with it. And we get labeled, and then I'm just going to be a single mom. Like it's just a lot of pressure on me.
It is. Because people, we've talked about that. My wife and I have talked about that a lot. It's like everyone, I mean, we didn't do shit the right way either, right? But when you get married, nobody tells you about the shit that you experience when you're in a marriage. Nobody does, right? And most people, I'm pretty open about the shit that we've experienced, but most people don't talk about it. It's almost like most people are ashamed of it, or they're
like
guilty
taboo
of it.
It's taboo. It's like if it's forbidden to talk about. Like,
I think about addiction. This is where a lot of my life plays into where I work. This place has just allowed my life to be better because I see that as the same sense of addiction, like for people that are using, right? Or a lot of them have experienced trauma, physical abuse, sexual abuse, all this horrible shit. But a lot of people don't talk about it because they're afraid that others are going to judge them, or they're afraid that others are going to look at them different, when in reality, more people have probably experienced that type of shit just the same way that more people have probably experienced hardships in a marriage and a relationship than they would like to admit. I think mostly everybody has probably experienced some shit like that.
And I think that's why my mom stayed with my dad for so long, because she was going to be labeled that. Like, how are you going to have 4 girls by yourself? Like, Mom, I'd rather you be by yourself than live this life that we're not, this is not a healthy, household. No. You know what I'm saying? And I think our culture has a lot to do with it. It
does, dude. It's more about, like, what do people think?
Like, we can't go to therapy because, like, you're, como que estás loca? Like, Mom, like, I don't feel like you're not depressed, you're bored. Like,
therapy.
Yeah, like, you know what? Like,
chingao.
Yeah, like I need, like, I'm depressed. And you're like, que depressed que la chingada? Like, you're just bored. Go, like, make yourself productive. And you're like,
you don't think I'm depressed? You don't think I'm fucking depressed?
Yeah. And they're just like, well, fuck, like, maybe I'm not. Like, so you're just...
For real. Like, I think it is. I think you're absolutely right.
Like, they try to mind fuck you that you're not what you're trying to express to them. And especially, like, my Mexican grandma, like, no, like, that's not what... Because my mom's already was born here. Like, it's different. Like, I think our culture has a lot to do with it. And it's fucked up.
Dude, the generation, like our mother's parents and the ones before them were like, those were some hard, I don't know, solid women, man.
My grandma's 98. She's my rock. She got me through rehab. She was like, Carlita, if you do anything for me, like, get through this. And that was a lot. to see my grandma at that time. She's 98 now, bless her heart.
Yeah.
She's my rock. I was just with her last night. She was making me watch some bullshit on TV. And I was all into it too with her. But I've never asked you for anything, but if I ask you for something, she's like, you don't belong in a place like this. Just do your time, whatever you need to do here, gain whatever you need to gain from here. And I hope you never drink again.
Wow.
So I don't want to take a lot of your time, but...
No, you're good. You're good. You're fine. I'm not stressing at all.
So separation happens. And separation sucks. You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, this is your high school sweetheart. I've known him since I was 16. Like, you think it's going to, like, be this. And then I think that's part of our culture, too, because you marry your high school sweetheart and you're supposed to live for it, like... My grandparents hated each other, but they were still married at the end. Like, my grandfather, may he rest in peace, like, they just slept in separate rooms.
Yeah. Oh, that's so weird. Yeah, I see that.
But I went through a lot with I even had, there's a lot that there's so much that went with my first husband and my dad. They were both living with me.
Ooh. I
was the only one working in the household, trying to work on his music. I was trying to be that supportive wife and naive at 19, 20. I'm like, he's going to blow up and we're going to make millions. Being in the music industry, I think you know what I'm talking about too, that we're going to make it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get out of Tucson. And I was just trying to be that supportive wife. He was so talented in drawing that he was going to school. So I was like, you go to school first and then I'll go to school. But it just didn't work out like that.
Yeah.
And I think that fucked me up. But taking care of two grown-ass men and my daughter, it was stressful for me. And it was causing, like, health issues for me. And I think I was using a lot more because I was so stressed out. So the doctor at the time was like, whatever's stressing you out, you need to cut it out of your life, too. And I think that had a lot to do with the divorce. And I went home and I was like, if I could take care of two grown-ass men and my daughter and still use, I'm not the cook.
I don't need this added.
Yeah. So I just took me and the baby out of it.
Man. And this is around 22?
22 when we got separated.
Okay. All right. And like you said, that must have put you into like a depression, of course.
Yeah. So I was in depression, started using a lot more coke. For me, it was just it was just numbing. Like, I didn't want to feel shit. I didn't want to feel sad. I didn't want to go through the emotions of it. I didn't want to feel anything. So this is where I'm finding that I'm using by myself. Like, it's not even to party anymore, Buddha. Like, this is just to medicate myself.
Just to not feel the pain, the withdrawals and shit.
Like, not to feel the bullshit like I'm losing my husband. And then when I wanted to fix it, he didn't want to fix it. When he wanted to fix it, I didn't want... Like, we were never on the same page.
Young.
Yeah. You're just young and dumb, you know? Mm-hmm. You think you know it all. So I moved in with his mom. Like, I shout out to my suegra. I still call her suegra to this day. And her husband at the time, which was a pastor. Wow. So we were part of the first family. So, but then I didn't want to go back to staying with my sisters because now they're starting to drink and, like, they're partying now.
So you were trying to actively cut the shit
I'm trying to get I'm trying to get me and Raylani out of that environment.
Yeah.
Because I know it, like, now I'm older. I know better. And I'm like, fuck, maybe I do have a problem. And that now I'm catching myself. Like, I'm fucking using coke by myself. Like, I'm not in a party environment. Like, this is, like, what's wrong with me. So it was a lot of self-reflection. But I still didn't want to admit that I was an addict. I just knew that I couldn't stop doing coke. Yeah. But it made me feel good. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I was just, it was my crutch.
Yeah.
Like, it was making me feel good for the time being.
And I'm curious to know what you think of this. We've talked about this a lot, you know, like you said, it starts off fun, right? It starts off fun. We've had a lot of people. I'm a big faithful person. You know, I'm a Christian. And people have brought up the analogy of, you know, you use, and the more that you use, especially once you start mixing substances together, it's like that portal in your life opens up, and it allows for a lot of ugly things to come into your life. Some people call them spirits. That's what I feel like they are. Ugly, it's almost like your world becomes worse because, the drugs are fun, which is the allure, right? This is what brings you in. And then once he's got you on lock, once you're hooked and that's your crutch, then it's like the self-negative talk, the self-sabotage. And now you're getting fucking tickets and DUIs, and your kids are losing respect for you. And at this point, you can't stop it. Do you agree with that? I
lost complete control, Buddha. And then how you're saying with the spirits and shit, I'm going to get to that because I don't know if it was because I was staying up for days, but I would see like black, I want to call them entities, but to me, Coke is the devil now.
Bro, that's real.
Like, I promise you. And then I would see like these black, and I don't know if I was hallucinating. Maybe it was the devil. I don't know what it was. But at the time I would see shit and I was living with the pastor at this time, right? So I'm just like, I'm under the pastor's roof, a man that prays for me every night because he knows I'm an addict. Like, it was no secret. Like, I'm a fucking cokehead. Like, you can't be like, and I thought I was cute. That's the fucking bad part. Like, I think I'm like getting up, getting ready, going to work, thinking I look cute. And I gotta look like shit being up for 3 days straight. You know what I'm saying? Not eating. So I'm like, but in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm still cute. I'm still functioning. I'm still going to work. I just picture my little
girl when she was like 5 doing makeup and shit for the first time.
Like, remember, I don't remember, like, was it called The Babysitter? That little girl when she puts on her lipstick all fucked up and
I'm not too sure.
I'll have to bring it up to you. Like, I felt like, I don't know, I'm like thinking I'm a functioning addict. Like, I got this, But living under his roof, I felt like it made it worse. And I wanted to use more. I would seclude myself and I would isolate myself in that home. And I knew my daughter was fine because she was with her grandparents. And I was just in self-pity, just feeling sorry for myself. And I remember like praying, Buddha, like, God, Pastor gave me a roof over my head and somewhere that's safe to live. I'm still using here. Like, I'm done with it. Like, I promise, like, just help me kick this habit. Like, I do not want to do this shit anymore.
Man, and had you prayed before that?
There's been nights where I'm like, God, please. I thought I was gonna die a few times, and that's where I would take Xanax, NyQuil, whatever downer I could take to like just try to go to sleep. I would lose jobs too. Now, like, I wasn't really even a functioning addict because I would lose jobs because I wouldn't go to work because I'm like, I can't go to work like this. I would look in the mirror and I would, and it was almost like the devil was looking back. Like, it was not me. And that shit was scary. Like, towards the end, I was scaring myself. It was not like I would look and I was hating the person that was looking back at me. And I would just like stare at myself and I'll be like, who the fuck is this person? Where did I lose? I lost myself. So
it's so scary.
It is. I should have been dead like a lot of times. I don't even know what happened. I think it was a birthday party for a friend. It's always the 4-year-old's birthday party. And it was a rager, bro.
Yeah. I was just bringing that shit up. My mom told me that when I turned 1, they had a big ass party. My dad and his band performed and shit. I'm like, all right, cool. Good for you.
So again, I had a friend and it was his kid's birthday party. And I took Raylani with me, I remember. And I think I dropped her off at my mom's because it was close. And
I didn't even bring a gift, huh? I bet.
I don't think I did. But I brought drugs.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I brought gifts for the dad and the mom. I think the 12-pack doesn't count.
Yeah, hey, it counts, yeah.
You know what I'm
can
saying?
Split it, yeah.
So, like, we were up. I think we partied for 2 days. That was a 2-day birthday party.
Man.
It was a lot of Hennessy, Red Bull, Coke, and I locked my keys in the car. It was a shit show that night. I'll never forget. And we were all trying to break into my car. I got my arm stuck. It was bruised. Like, I was a shit. And they're like, Carla, what are you trying to do? And I was like, I just remember I wanted to go home. Like, I just want to go home. I just want to lay down. And my boy was like, go lay down inside. And then I don't know why I was upset with him. And I was like, I don't want to stay here. I want to go home. Like, I was all terca already. Like, I was already set. Like, I wanted to go home. So then they broke my window to my car. And because that's how adamant. They're like, just fucking shut this bitch up. get her in the fucking car and get her out of
Jeez.
here. Like, it was that bad.
And you drove yourself home? Yeah. That's crazy.
And he even asked me to take his cousin home. Damn. So that's a whole nother. So she's in the car. I took some people home, and I think I took her to her boyfriend's house, or the boyfriend met me somewhere, and it was me and her. And I was so crazy. Like, I was like so out of it that I thought she stole my purse. And granted, that's where all my money's at, my scale and my coat. That's like my kit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm chasing them. So I'm like, I'm not, dude, and I'm not even chasing the right car. So I'm in my head, I'm like, she got out of the car, she got in with her man, and then I couldn't find my purse. But it was in my car the whole time, Buddha.
So, oh my God. So you're like in this coke-induced psychosis.
Yes.
Psychosis. And you
I love that.
And you saw her leave. She gets in the car with her guys and dips.
So I think what happens is her man met me at my mom's house. She jumps in with her man. I try to get down, and I'm going to go inside. And in my head, I didn't see my purse. So I'm like, this bitch stole my purse. I get back in the car, start like speeding off, and I'm trying to catch up to them, and I'm chasing this car that's not even them.
What the
So the car that I am chasing is calling 911. It's like, this fucking car is chasing me. Like, they're trying to run me down. And the car that's trying to run them down is me.
I can just see you in the mirror. Big old eyes. That's crazy.
Dude, like...
Were you, like, hitting the car?
No, but I was just, like, yes, like, honking at them. Like, it must have been, like, 2, 3 in the morning. Like, we were already,
man.
like...
Oh, yeah. So, Devil's trying to get you caught up at this point.
So then they're calling obviously they call the cops on me. They're like, I don't know what the fuck I did to this car, but they're like, it's like road rage. They're calling in like a road rage on me. So now I see the fucking cop I'm like, well, fucking pull me over because that bitch stole my purse. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want my purse. So then I get pulled over. They're like, do you know why we pulled you over? And I was like, no. But I was like, I just know that this girl stole my purse and I'm trying to get my purse. Could you guys help me with that? And like, so I'm trying to get the cops, and like, my eyes were probably like,
your pupils were bigger than your eyeballs.
I'm smelling like fucking Hennessy and whatever the fuck else we drank for the past 2 days. So I'm sure I wasn't a pretty picture.
Oh, that's
so they probably like, what is wrong with this bitch? Like, they're like, ma'am, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to find. They stole my purse. Like, they go chase. Why did you guys stop me? Like, go get them. They got my purse. The officer looks in the back seat on the floor. And he's like, does it happen to be it was a bright pink Coach purse. And he's like, does it happen to be like a pink purse? And I was like, yeah, how did you know? He's all, it's right here in your back seat.
Oh my God.
So my window, remember my window's broken, shattered. It is cold. I remember it's like in the wind, like it was cold. So I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, thank you, officer. I was like, have a good night. And they're like, no. Like, no. I was like, case closed. Like, you guys, I appreciate your help. Like, yeah, dude. So then, like, they get my purse. They find, I used to carry my Coke in my baggies in a pill bottle. I had $1 full of Coke. That was my personal use. And then a scale full of residue. Hella money. I think I had like $1,500 just for over the weekend what I sold. And then they're like, what's this pill bottle? And I was like, oh, that's personal use. And they're like, ma'am, why is it packed up? And I was like, I have a problem. I need to moderate myself. And they're like, so you moderate yourself with the same amount every time? I'm like, yeah, I keep track of how I use. Like, this is how crazy I am. And this is how,
wow.
Like, I think I'm going to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? And then they're like, well, what's your name? And I gave my little sister's name, bro.
Oh, man. Same last name and everything. They could easily find you.
So then I was like, Karina Daniela. And I was like, so what's your birthday? And I'm like, fuck, what is her? Like, I knew the February 5th part. I just didn't know the year. So I was like, 1980. I was like, fuck, I was 81, 82. I was trying to count like how many years we were apart and shit. And I was like, 86. And they found my ID. And they're like, who's this Carla Saenz that looks just like you? And then I was like, you caught me. I was
Sorry.
just kidding. So then the officer was like, is your mom Maria? And I was like, yeah. I was like, how did you know? And he was like, if it was just a DUI, I would take you home to your mom right now. He's like, your mom's a really good person. He's up because of all the other bullshit with the coke and the distribution. Like, you're obviously selling coke. And I was like, no, like, I'm moderating myself. Like, I have a problem. And they're like, we have to book you. So that was, to me, I see that as my answered prayer. Like, my prayers answered.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was praying for God to just give me that sign or give me that help. And that was that DUI.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, that's crazy. That makes perfect sense. It's a weird thought for anybody who's never experienced something like that, for you to be grateful for such a stressful
almost
situation.
Relieved.
You know what I mean?
I was like, finally, like, this is what I've been waiting for. Like, I was almost grateful that
you felt that immediately.
Yeah, like, thank God. I'm like, here, like, let's go. Like, I've been to jail before, so I was like, I knew I was gonna get out my mom was gonna get me, or my dad. At this time, my dad and my stepmom were already in recovery. Super proud of my dad. Like, he's a fucking amazing thought. He's a shitty dad, but he's an amazing tata. So they were already in recovery. I guess my mom, when I was in jail, my mom and dad went to my apartment. I still had hella coke over there. My mom flushed all my shit down the toilet. Ooh. So luckily,
at least you didn't know anybody.
Yes, thank you. At least you understand that part. So my dad picked me up from jail because my mom didn't want any part of me. They went to back then we had video court, and your family could sit in it, and they read my charges. And my mom was so disappointed in me that my dad picked me up when they released me from the tank. And I was like, Dad, fat boy, where's mom? And he's like, she doesn't want any part of you right now. And I was like, the fuck? I was like, quit fucking around, take me home. And he's like, I'm being serious. Your mom doesn't want to see you right now. And I was like, what are you talking? Like, I'm my mom's first. Like, I'm so chipilona. Like, I'm so attached to my mom. Like, that broke me. That was my rock bottom. Like, for my mom not to want anything to do with me, I have never, like, I've done a lot of shit, but for her to say, like, do not bring her home to me, that just broke me. So then I was like, I had my own apartment at the time too. Me and Raylani had a little spot. And I was like, can you take me he's like, I'm going to take you to rehab, gorda. And he's like, my dad being the manipulator addict that he being in and out of the system. He's like, I'm going to take you to rehab. You're going to show the judge that you're trying to better yourself. And he's like, this is the only way that you're going to get out of this. So me trusting my dad, like, my dad never, like, he failed me in other ways. But when it came to this shit, like, he never steered me wrong. So, like, I fucking did what my dad said, like, so let's go to rehab. So I was like, hey, Dad, before we go to rehab, can I take a shower? And, like, could we go to the apartment? And he's like, if you think you're going to find that plate of Coke on top of the refrigerator, your mom found it. And he's like, how much do you owe on it so I could pay it off for you? And I was like, oh, that's paid in full. And he's like, oh, you did learn some shit from me. So I was just like, so I'm like, for real, Dad? Like, but I wanted to see for myself. And he's like, I'll take you. He's like, because you could take a shower before you go to detox. So he took me to the apartment, and my dad's running it down, like, what I'm going to experience, because he's already been through it many times. So I think he's, like, trying to prepare me, and I'm, like fucking still coming down from being drunk for 3 days and shit. I think I still haven't even slept. So I'm like, because you can't sleep in the tank. So then I'm like, fuck. And then so I, like, me being me, I go fucking look on the refrigerator, and he's like, I told you it's gone, gorda. Your mom flushed it down. She wouldn't even give it to me. And I was like, oh, fuck. Because you want to do that last line, you know what I'm saying? So then I opened the refrigerator, and then he's like, all your beer, all your alcohol's gone. And I was like, what the fuck? You guys just went through all my shit? Like, and then he's like, everything's gone. Like, he's like, that was your last hoorah. Like, that was it, gorda. Like, go take a shower. Let's go to I'm gonna drop you off at detox. The sooner I could get you to detox, the sooner I could get you to the rehab. Fucking got ready, rinsed off. Like, I'm like crying. I'm like, can I go see mom? And he's like, all right, well, like, let me call her. So then I stopped. I did go see my daughter. I wanted to see my daughter too. Stopped at my mom's house, and then I was like, Mom. And then she's like, no. She's like, get treatment, or I'm gonna figure out a way to me and my daughter's husband, my daughter's dad will figure out what we're going to do with the baby. So I was like, fuck. So then went to detox. Detox was the scariest shit I've ever experienced in my life. I was telling you earlier,
What
like
was it?
with, like I was in the, because I didn't experience the withdrawals. So I was not the, like with the shakes or any of that. Like I was just in there like coming down, I guess. And I just wanted to sleep.
Is it a lot like Adderall and meth, like where you just want to sleep? That's it?
I never did meth, so I don't know.
Okay.
But I just know I hadn't slept for like 3 days at this point.
Oh, yeah. So you just needed
Yeah, I just wanted, I was crashing. But then I'm like hearing these screams. It sounded like, I don't know what an asylum sounds like, but I thought they were like doing experiments on these women. And I'm like, am I fucking next, bro? Like, why are they screaming like this? Because it was like agony. Like, I will never forget these screams.
They're so. I mean, it's not.
like
it's funny, but it's not funny. It is
like not because I laugh at it now, but I'm just like, fuck. What the fuck are they doing to them? And it sounded like they were getting closer and closer. So I was like, am I next? So I would just pretend to be asleep if they would come in my room and check on me, because I would be so. I'm like, what are they doing?
You ready for these experiments?
Like I'm like, what do they do to you in here? Like I never. That sound will never get out of my head. Like it was like agony, like almost like when you lose somebody and like that wailing, like that mother wailing.
Oh yeah,
it was like that because I've experienced that a lot too. So it's just like a sound I'll never forget. I couldn't, like in rehab or detox, I didn't know anybody. I didn't want to make no friends. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was just like, when's the next bus to fucking rehab, or what's the next step? So I think I spent I had to do like a mandatory 7 days in there. So just to myself. So I just would try to like sleep and get through the day. Try to convince my mom. Of course, you're going to try to convince my mom to pick you up. And she's like, nope. Like, it was like, no, like a hard no. Like, usually I would be able to be like, Mom, please, like, just pick me up, please. Like, I don't belong in here. And she's like, no, you do. So then I took the little short bus to the Vida Serena. Shout out to Vida Serena and the staff. If anyone hears this from Vida Serena, it's closed now, but they saved my life. So it was a 45-day program. I met some girls. So I was just like the little prissy. I thought I was above them because I just did coke and I'm not like you. Like, I don't do meth and I don't smoke crack. Maybe I went in that with the mentality that I was better than them, but they humbled me really quick, like really quick. I almost like got like bullied. Like I was like, what the fuck? I'm usually the bully, you know what I'm saying? But they humbled me.
Did you come in with like an arrogant?
Yeah, I'm like, bullshit? I'm still carrying the same fucking coach purse, and I'm just like, hi, I'm Carla. So I'm just here to fucking beat this case. You know, I'm in my head, like I'm just like, this is gonna be my jail time. Like that's what my dad kept telling me. Like the judge will see this, that you're trying to better yourself, and
they saw right through your ass, dude. Wow.
So they were like, what are you in here for? And I was just like, oh, I do coke. And they're like, bitch, they're like, you don't even know shit. Like, fucking, like, I heard some stories. There was a little girl in there. She was like 18. She was prostituting herself for speedballs, and that was like the first time I ever heard of speedball. And I was like, what is a speedball? And they're like, girl, you're so lucky. Like they would explain it to me.
Reminds me of that movie Traffic. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
the president's daughter, I think.
Yeah, and then remember she was chasing the dragon. Yeah. So I didn't know, like I didn't hang out with like that crowd. But I was heading that way. And then I'll remember this older lady, like we had to do meetings, and then we had to share, and then I must have looked super scared because I've never been away from my mom, never been away from my daughter. Our culture too, like if I could live with my mom still, I probably would. So like it was never been like taken away from that, and I was just like I was scared. I've never been scared in my life, and that shit scared the shit out of me. So learning new terms, learning like what? Like them showing me their tracks, and I'm just like, nah, like you see it in the movies and shit, but seeing it real life, it's different. So then
It's crazy to hear you talk about this because I'm going back to the beginning of the testimony where you said like you had never experienced love like that before. You'd never experienced like healthy relationships, right? It was just a part of your life. So now not only are you dealing with the situation like a DUI and realizing that your family is starting to look at you a certain way, but now you're learning that it's not normal. You know, you're experiencing these wailings, these cryings, and you're seeing like, holy shit! It's like the whole veil was removed.
Yeah, it's like an awakening. I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I was like
your whole life came crashing down.
And I had to reflect a lot of myself. A lot of it too was a lot of like coming to terms with I'm an addict. Like I'm an alcoholic addict. Whatever you want to call me, either one fits me. Regardless if it was just the cocaine, but I was doing a lot of stuff with that too, and I was chasing a high that I was never gonna get, like that first high, like when that guy from the OG homie, when he's like, you want to try that, and it was like that was such a wonderful feeling, and towards the end I wasn't feeling that anymore. It was so fucking horrible, Buddha. And then every line I was like, I hate this shit. Like, I remember telling myself that, like, I'm like, I hate this shit so much. Like, I don't even want to do this shit anymore. But still doing lines, not even like little bumps and shit. Like, fucking with the strum. Like, I fucking hate this and I hate me. Like, I'm like, why am I like this? So, like, going to rehab really humbled me. I learned a lot there. I started my 12 steps. We had a speaker meeting there, and I learned a lot from the people that would speak. Like the old comers would come back and like sort of like how we do here, like with the race group. And I was just like, well, shit, like what the fuck? Like that sounds like me. You know what I'm saying? Like I was relating to them like with the, and I'm like, well, shit, people have it way shittier than I had it. And like, regardless of the mess that got us to that rehab or to get into treatment, it was the same steps and the same program that kept me. I'm going to say me because I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else in that treatment at that time.
Yeah.
But here I am 17 years later.
Man.
Still sober.
What a blessing. And that was the one and only time you ever had to go. It scared you that much. You're just like, I'm done.
I'm never like, I don't want to say never, but I don't want to experience that ever again. And I don't want to put like how my dad, like, how, like, I don't want her to think that Lent was gonna be the only time she had a good mom.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to keep like, because that shit fucked me up too when my dad would like get sober and we would be like, like my dad got it this time, like he's so different, and then he would relapse again, and it was just like so heartbreaking. And I don't think he understood what he was doing to us too. Like you're not only doing it to you, but you're doing it to your family. And then now thinking back to me, like I wasn't only doing it to me, like I was doing it to my mom and my daughters and my sisters too, because they would look up to me, you know?
Yeah.
And I have a lot of guilt for the two middle ones that are, well, one's in recovery, but I don't talk to her anymore. And then the other one is just in denial.
Man. And so it's been 17 years that you've been in recovery. You know, just continued on with your life, and this was the first experience that you ever had working in this type of field. You know, I don't know how you feel about this, and, you know, I think, what if this is just the beginning of being able to rebuild and reestablish those relationships with your family that you've lost already, you know, like with your dad, and finding a way to be able to who knows, you know, it's crazy because you're going back once again, thinking about your dad, and how had it not been that he was an addict and gone through that shit, you wouldn't probably be where you're at right now.
Maybe.
Right? And maybe. I feel like everyone has a role, though. Everyone plays that role, right? Maybe you coming here and, you know, God's will, maybe this is his way of being able to get those wheels turning, because who knows what your sisters are going to need in the future. You know what I'm saying? And
I pray for them. I pray for them from afar. You got to build healthy boundaries, and I still go to therapy. I still go to church a lot. My faith is what keeps me sober. There's days that when I'm having a bad day, I'll sit in San Javier for hours until I'm just like, God, I give it to you. Like,
such a beautiful church.
I could sit in there all day.
I pass by it every day on the way home.
Yeah, like I sit in there every day, or not every day, but like the days that I'm having bad, like And then I wish I could tell the people in recovery that it gets easier, but it doesn't. And I feel like my challenges just get bigger and bigger, and just to see if, I don't know if God's testing me. Like, let me try to break this bitch. But then I'm just pull out my little toolbox, and I'm like, I know I have this coping skill somewhere. And like, I don't know. I feel like they're tests.
No, I think you're right. But, you know, also let's focus on the positive shit, because yeah, it doesn't get easier, but I'm sure a lot of your life has gotten significantly better since you've made that decision. Being
getting my RSS is probably the best decision that I wish I could have gotten it sooner, but I believe everything happens for a reason. Don't get me fucked up. Like, I still get in trouble. I'm on probation right now. And shout out to my PO right now, because he's the reason I'm working here.
Really? That's cool.
He told me, like, you need to find a job, start flipping burgers. And I was like, I'm 42, bro. Like, I'm not going to flip a burger. Like, I'm not knocking it, but I'm not above it. But I was like, I have too much experience working. Like, I've been working my whole life.
It's almost, no disrespect to anyone who's, you know, I've worked in kitchens. I've done that too. But it's almost like disrespectful. Almost,
you know, that's how
all
I
I'm
felt.
worth
Like,
is just
because I've been in, like, I've done janitor, like, I've done, like, cleaned offices and shit. Like, I've had to do what I had to do. And then now that I'm sober, like, I had to find little hustles, but like legit ones, you know what I'm saying? So I cleaned offices, like scrubbed toilets for money, like, you know what I'm saying? But when he told me, he was like, oh, looks like you have to go fucking work at McDonald's. Or I'm just like, what? Like,
yeah, it's the only reason why I say that as an, you know, for a young person, it's a young person's job. They don't know what they want to do yet. You don't throw that shit at an adult.
And then I'm like, with my experience, and I'm just like, no, like, that's not so cool. It sort of was like, he almost let a fight. Like, he pissed me off so fucking much that I was just like, I'm gonna find something just so I could prove him wrong type shit.
Wow.
And then
so your RSS is new too? The actual
I just got my RSS just not that long ago. I wasn't working. Like, shout out to my husband now that this has been a tough year for me. Coming here humbled me a lot too, like, because you get comfortable. I'm not gonna say you. Let me take that back. I got comfortable in my recovery, where I was just living day by day and just going through the motions, and I wasn't practicing anything. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't practicing my, like, spirituality. Like, I used to go to church every Sunday. I used to go to church whenever I needed it. Talk to my priest. I used to make appointments with my priest. I've done confessions, and I'm like, dude, I need to book, like, the rest of the week for my confessions with you. So how much time do you got? So like I was in it, you know, and then I lost that. Like, I lost a little bit of me. I went through some stuff health-wise, and it's hard. Me and my husband have had like 3 miscarriages, so that was hard too. And this last one was really hard on me, and I went into into the depression and that self-pity. And then I had he let me just, he's been with me long enough to know, like, let me just, like, let her deal with it how she needs to deal with it. So then finally I got my shit together, got my head out of my ass, stopped feeling sorry for myself. And then I went through an agency called DKA, and I found them at the probation job fair.
That's cool.
Shout out to them too.
Was that the one at the TCC?
There was one
just
at the
recently?
TCC. So anyone looking for a job, there's shit out there for us. You know what I'm saying? We just need to find it, we need to put the work, I guess, too. If you want it, you could do it. So the lady, they were packing up, and it was actually at the Southside Probation Office on Ajo. It was like a little one.
Yeah.
And it's called Second Chance Job Fair or something like that. They hold them every so often. And I was like, I need somebody with peer support, because I've been wanting to get in this industry for so long, but something would always hold me back. And then some lady, she was packing up her shit, and she was like, here's my card. She's like, call me. And as soon as I got in the car, I think I was even driving home. I hadn't even made it home yet. And I was like, I just saw you at the job fair. My name's Carla. And then she's like, I just got to my office. She's like, set up an appointment. And then from there, everything fell into place.
That's good. That's good. And I think you're right. I think you're spot on when you say that it's a test. You know, because I'm sure there's been times, right? Like, I mean, honestly, where you've probably felt like, fuck, dude.
Like
why did I even stop?
Yeah, like it's hope. Like I feel hope in that. Even like with my two, that's another story. That's a whole nother podcast with my two middle sisters. Like my mom never gave them the ultimatum, and that's always been a fight between me and her. Like you obviously that they see that they have a problem, but you don't give them the same ultimatum that you gave me. So
I have a theory about that.
What?
My theory is, you know, I feel like as parents, we make a lot of mistakes with our first babies, right?
Okay.
And as much as you were hurt that your mom cut you out of her life, I can only imagine how much it must have hurt her to have to do that to you too.
Yeah.
So, you know, if it's something that you guys have never had an opportunity to really talk about, like go deep in and apologize and really like heal those wounds, maybe that's the reason why. Maybe she never wants her baby girl to feel that way.
Yeah. And there's a lot, and I need to sit down with my mom too, because there's a lot of things too, and I'm still in therapy now, and she's like, you need to still like, I see that you're this role of the protector, and this like you did a lot of stuff that wasn't your responsibility. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, maybe you should step back and tell your mom you're not her fixer anymore. And I did that. I told my mom, like, Mom, like, I need to do me now. Like, my sisters are grown. If they don't want to talk to us or if they don't want to talk to each other, that's their prerogative. But I'm not your fixer anymore. And she was taken back by that. But she almost had to respect it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm done being your protector and your fixer. Like, I need to, it's not healthy for me.
Yeah.
Because I was just getting caught up in my sister's shit, and it's just a lot.
Yeah. No,
it would just make more problems.
Well, you know, for everyone who's out there, all the prayer warriors out there, man, make sure you pray for our homegirl, Carla.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in here, man, for real. Like, it's been cool as shit having you in here and just being able to chop it up and just feeling comfortable and everything. You know, I'm proud of you, and I'm very happy that you're here, and I'm very happy that you're with IOP, because I'm not even trying to be biased, but Ray's a bad mug, man. He's badass. His hustle is unmatched, right? And everyone that he's got on his team is super solid. Shout out to all of IOP, and shout out to all of the clients too, man. I appreciate it.
I learned so much from them. Every day is a learning process. I gain as much from them as I hope that they do from me.
Absolutely.
Like I try to tell them, this is a new lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. I wish it could tell you that it's all rainbows and unicorns and shit. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes we have shitty days, and that's when you have to like really make sure that you have those resources and coping skills and those tools to get you through the bad days. Because the easy days are gonna be easy. You know, like those are gonna be a breeze. It's just those bad days, bro. That's where the real tests come in. I really truly believe that those are tests.
And you know, do you also feel now, like, you know, you said you've been married for a while, do you feel like you've learned to love yourself more so that now you're able to actually know how to love someone else?
Like, and in the beginning, like we got together like almost 10 years ago. In the beginning, it was because I used to pick fights, you know, like. So I'm like, why don't you want to fight with me? And then I had an incident in my recovery too, where I didn't want to live anymore, Buddha. Like I tried to like commit suicide in recovery. Like, so that just tells you like, and I had a lot to do with the whole dynamic of trying to be the fixer. And I just felt like it was just like, I can't do it. So like, even in recovery, shit happens. You know what I'm saying? Like even in our sane mind, like you could still... shit still happens. So I put myself in IOP in Palo Verde, and I learned a lot of coping skills there. How to like love yourself, and why I deserve to be here, and why I deserve the things that I didn't feel like I was worthy of. And a lot of it was my anger management too, because I was still carrying that with me, and I hadn't dealt with it yet, even in recovery. So I big ups to my husband that's put up with a lot of shit.
Heck yeah, shout out, brother. Shout out, man.
So he had a lot of patience, and I was always that, you know, us too, like with me, I always had to have the last word, like, and he would say something, I'm like, what the fuck did you say? And I'm like, square up, motherfucker, like, say it with your chest. Like, I was that girl, you know, like, so now, like, going through IOP at Palo Verde, I learned like how to pick and choose your battles, just walk away now, calming myself down like that wusa, counting on your fingers. I know you know.
You were like Felicia and Craig, huh? You asked that damn bitch for some money.
I'm out there. I'm a little crazy, but.
How did you and April connect? That's really funny. Opposites attract, obviously.
I love April to death. I do. We worked together. We were schedulers at Pima Heart. That's how I met April.
That's how I met you then.
Yes.
Because I was a fat ass at that time, and
you our patient?
I was your patient because I thought I was going to die of a heart attack. I was already pre-diabetic.
We had the best physicians at Pima Heart. And me and her just clicked. And then she happened to work with my suegra. And I had a picture of Raylani. And she's like, is that Raylani? And I was like, excuse me. And I was like, how are you calling my daughter by her first name? Like, how do you know Raylani? And she's like, do you know Jenny? And I was like, yes, my ex-suegra. And then she's like, I know. She's like, I've known your daughter since forever. And I was just from like the Radiology Limited picnics and stuff. And God put April in my life. I love her dearly. Your tia too. Like
my tia Connie, I love you, tia.
I love you, tia. And my mom's even living in one of their their properties.
That's cool.
Shout out to the Aguilars.
Me and her had gotten super close and just busy with the family and stuff, but used to go talk with her and
then they're so like, you could just sit there with them and because I'm so spiritual too, your tia love me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then one time I even wanted to take April to the fiestas, and I was already not drinking then. And I was like, she's not going to let me go to Mexico with you. And I was like, Mom, can I take April to the fiestas in Magdalena? Like, I'm going to show her San Francisco and his bones are there. And little did she know it was like a big old party. I was like,
rager, another poor April, so scared.
She was. What is it? I'm like, girl, are you like, what's up? Did they let you do anything? Like, I introduced April to so many. She's like, what are we doing? I'm like, just go with it, girl. Like, I will never let anything happen to April anyway. So I love April to death. She's been through a lot with me and my sisters, and she stuck it out.
That's funny.
But she's only known me sober. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, that's really
wow.
Yeah, so she's so super sweet girl. I love her. I love that podcast of her and her husband.
Shout out.
She's come along. I'm so happy that she finally found her partner. I've known some guys that she dated, and
man, you gotta go see the house that she's at now.
No, I need to go see your nana's house. I need to go see your tia Connie too, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, there you go.
I miss them. Shout out to the Aguilars.
Oh man. All right. This has been super dope. This has been absolutely incredible. I thank you very much for the interest. I thank you for sharing it with the clients and all of that. It means the world to me. Thank you so much, man.
And shout out to Ray and Luis. I saw them on Telemundo.
Okay.
I saw a little segment, and they're a big reason why I wanted to be a part of the ARC. Like, the ARC was my number one. Like, if I couldn't, I applied other places, but this was my, like, top choice where I wanted to work, and this is a great program.
It really, really is. It's amazing. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Michelle and Matt and all of them out there, man. They're incredible. This place there's something special about it. You know, you hear a lot of different spots around town or whatever, but the way that they do things here, I really think it allows people to feel that sense of freedom and hope.
Yeah. Interviewing with Jessica. Jessica didn't think I was going to be a good fit for residential. She sent me to Emily for Emily taking a chance on me. And we'll see where this goes. I'm so excited for this new journey. Here to, for the clients, I'm an open book. If you guys want to know how to be sober for 17 years, I could give you my resources, but it takes a lot.
All right. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, man, there you go. Give it up. That's our homegirl, Carla, right there. Man, bringing the house down. Thank you so much. For all of our listeners, wherever you may be, please, the only thing that we ask is that you share this with a loved one, whether somebody in recovery, somebody who wants to know more about it, whatever it may be. This world is getting darker every single day, and now more than ever, it is important for us to spread hope and to spread awareness and to help those and to, help people that are lost find their way, man. That's what it's all about. Until next time, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your week. Much love. God bless. We got something planned for you very special in the new year coming up, so stay tuned with us, and we'll definitely see you on the next one. Peace. What's going on, everybody? This is Buddha from the ARCast, and I just wanted to thank you for checking out this week's episode. It means a lot, and if you could share it with a friend or a loved one, somebody you need in recovery, or maybe somebody who just needs that little bit of extra positivity in their life, we'd greatly appreciate it. If you would like to join us here on the ARCast, either in the studio live or online, hit us up. The links are down in the show notes of this episode, and on there, you can find direct links to our main website here at Americas Rehab Campus and all of our social media platforms. Follow us. We keep the posts positive and motivational, focused on recovery, health, and wellness. As you know, in this modern day and age, we need as much love as possible, y'all. And as always, if you or somebody you know is in need of substance abuse treatment, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're open 24 hours a day, and our direct phone number is 1-833-272-7342. Once again, that phone number is 1-833-272-7342. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Much love and God bless. Peace.